Hello, hello, and welcome to the Intelligence Mod Pod, a podcast brought to you by the Knights of D20. I'm Bobby, as always, and today I have Dane with me again, and we're going to talk about Warlocks.
Hell yeah, we are.
Um, so, first thing I want to know, Dane, do you have a lot of experience with Warlocks?
I have a lot of experience building out characters that I'll never, unfortunately, get to play. Warlock is probably my favorite class to play with, mainly for its like role play capabilities and being tied to evil, but not necessarily having to be evil. I think a lot of people probably always misconstrued that like a warlock has to have some kind of evil entity behind them, but as we'll talk about when we get to subclasses, that's not always the case. But what about you, Bobby? What do you like about warlocks, or what do you hate?
I will be honest with you. I disliked Warlocks until 2024. I had never played one. I had never really wanted to play one, with the exception of maybe a Celestial Warlock. But to me, they always felt like if you weren't just Eldritch Blasting through infinity, what was the point?
Hmm.
Um, I never really liked a lot of their features. I think they're kind of fun and gimmicky. I think they have a lot of really fun gimmicky stuff. I would do one-shots with them. Um, Overall, I didn't really like them at first, but now that 2024 came out, I'm obsessed. I really want to play one all the way through a campaign at some point. I mean, obviously there's going to be cross-classing because I physically am incapable of playing a non-cross-class character. Um, but yeah, so my experience going into this is that as a 2-level dip for our stream with Morroway, I have Warlock, powers. And I've had so much fun with them because I feel like a lot of the theme of the Warlock is making this contract and kind of in where your character lacks. Getting perks that kind of fill in what you don't have. So, if you're that poor human who just wants to see in the dark, Warlock can do that for you. I feel like there's so much that it can it's a very customizable class.
Hmm.
Um, and I really like that. I think you could have 6 Warlocks at a table and all of them be completely different and unrecognizable from each other.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, hell, I think you could have 6 Fiend Warlocks and all of them be completely different. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. You can get
and I think that's
a good selection of things that we'll talk about in this video that will
mhm.
help you do that.
Yeah. So with this video, we are going to be going through first with what both 2014 and 24 share. And then we're going to break into 2014. After that, we'll talk 2024. And then at the end, we're going to compare them. We are not going to be talking about each of the invocations in this video. We are going to have a video that should be releasing on the same day as this one. We're going to talk about every single invocation from 14 and 24 just to see how they stack up to each other. And so you know what your options are, because again, there are so many options.
Hmm.
Um, so with that, I think we are good to just get into it. So what they both share. We're going to be starting the game, our hit die, as a 8. So that means at level 1, we're going to be starting with 8 health plus our constitution modifier. And then every level after that we take a warlock level, we're going to get 1d8 plus your con mod. Or if you're a chicken like me, you can take 5 plus the con mod.
Always the average. Always.
Always. I always do. I am still like terrified of Melanie because she's like, I roll everything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my
Uh,
god.
the
I'm
question
terrified.
the question is, do we do it for campaign 2? That's the question.
I don't know. I think it should be an option. I don't think I will want to do it. But at the same time, I mean, it's I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm an average person, especially on these squishy classes. I feel like the thought of rolling a 1 plus my con mod
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
already only having 8 health and now I have 10 health at level 2, that's so scary to me. I feel like warriors, barbarians, paladins, they have a little bit more room to like wiggle around in that.
Yeah.
But these casters, it scares me. It scares me.
Particularly because, once again, talk about this later on down the line, a warlock can be a frontliner. So keep that in mind.
That's true. But as just a starting out, you are going to be starting with only simple weapons and light armor. So again, when we talk about these invocations and different subclass features, that's kind of what's going to get you into that frontliner role. Um, because your roles in the party, you can be a face because you are a charisma-based caster. You can be a blaster. You can do a lot of control. If you want, you can make a duelist out of this. It does work, and in my experience, it works pretty well. Or if you really want to go left field, you can play a more support-oriented character, which is what I would do. Which is probably the main reason that I haven't made one. Is their spell slot limitations. I
Yeah.
can't cast a whole lot. But with saving throws, you get wisdom and charisma. So I think those are two excellent, excellent saving throw options.
Yeah, definitely. And then of course we get your skills to choose from when you initially build your character, and you get to choose from quite a selection. Arcana, deception, history, intimidation, investigation, nature, and religion. And just those choices of skills goes to show like how diverse a character you can build with this.
Go to for this. What two are you picking?
You know what? It honestly, what's funny is persuasion's not in this, but like intimidation and deception are, which once again I feel like pushes people into thinking that it's going to be an evil type character. I would have liked to see persuasion in there, but once again, I would probably pick things like deception, probably arcana as well. And once again, it so depends on the type of warlock you want to make. Do you want to make one that is very interested in investigating, researching, learning the occult or the unknown, or do you want one that's going to be more charismatic and like a almost like a in like a political type campaign? Like I always picture a warlock that like I wanted to play as like Emperor Palpatine type, who starts off in like the Senate and just kind of slowly moves his way up to power. Like that's kind of always the warlock that I wanted to build out. So that would be more like deception, but also maybe things like history or investigation a little bit.
Yeah, so I want to real quick. We've talked about how this is a wisdom-based class, but as I'm looking over these skills, only
Charisma.
two of them are charisma. Did I say wisdom? I meant charisma. It's a charisma-based class, but only two of its skills are charisma, and all of the other ones are intelligence.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I think it's a little weird. I kind of wish, honestly, with that being how it is, that the saving throw had have been intelligence instead of wisdom. Uh, Personally, I know wisdom is more useful,
Yeah.
but I feel like, I have ideology of not only do you have to be charismatic to make these deals with these entities, but you also have to be smart. You have to know what you're doing, and you're more resistant to being duped.
Yeah.
Um,
There is a contract involved. You got to know how to read that contract and, sift through it for all the loopholes that you're going to need.
yeah. Also with this class, we get a very different spell slot system. So I'm going to read what the book has for us. It says Pact Magic is what your spell slots are called, so it's completely separate from normal spell slots. The Warlock table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your Warlock spells, 1st through 5th level. So the maximum you're getting is... the table also shows what the level of those slots is. All of your spell slots are the same level, so when they level, all of them go up. And you regain all of your Pact Magic spell slots when you finish a short or long rest. So you're getting significantly fewer of these spell slots, but they do come back on a short rest.
Yeah.
And they are going to be leveling together.
Yeah. Now, typically you just basically will have two pack slots for the majority of your campaign. Like it really doesn't get any more until you hit, I think it's like level 11 whenever you get the Mystic Arcanum. But up until then
It's pretty far.
Yeah, up until then you only have like two spell slots to work with. And I think that does throw off a lot of people because everybody just wants to cast, spells and spells and spells and spells. But um, if you think about it, like, and it really depends on the table. Like, how often do you get short rests versus long rests? Are you like a hyper realistic one where it's like a long rest is very hard to get? Because then short rests are going to benefit you a lot more than a wizard or a sorcerer. Well, sorcerers are they get their own spell slots back. They don't count. But like a wizard or a bard or a druid, who take a long rest to get all their spell slots back, where you get a short rest, and then if you are all at level 5 and you have access to third level spell slots, right? Like you're able to cast 4 fireballs a day, for a short rest. You get an extra 2 and then an extra 2. So you get a lot of opportunity to spell cast, and like you said, all of your spells are just cast at the highest level that you have available to you, which is quite nice. But I want to know what you think, Bobby, comparing Warlock spellcasting to like everyone else. Do you think it's a harder system, easier?
I think it's so much more difficult for newer players because everyone at the table is doing something completely different from them. But I like that it's creative. I like that it's different. I wish more I'll be honest, I wish more classes had different casting styles because I do like the ideology of it. I also, something as a DM that I really love about a warlock being at my table is everyone forgets about short rests. But the moment you have a warlock, we're taking short rests all the time. We're getting to use our hit die to recover hit points. Our poor healer who's sitting over in the corner trying to just, keep their spell slots gets a little bit of extra help because everyone is using short rests. So I personally, as a player, I love cross-classing into it because then I have these disposable spell slots that I know I can get back later. I have, these are my fun, let's just do whatever I want with them spell slots, and after that, it doesn't matter what happens to them. But I think as a full warlock, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think that would be the hardest sell for me if it weren't for all the invocation that you get, and all just the other stuff that it's going to load on you. Because I think at first you can look at it and think that Warlock looks like the weaker of all of the spellcasters, which in a way it sometimes is. If you're in a very like really long battle, going to be getting the biggest bang as a warlock because you're only going to be able to do I think a maximum of 4 spells in that combat if you're like level 20. So I think there's a lot of drawbacks to it. I think it's fun. I think it's playful. Overall, I enjoy it, but as a player, I don't think I would ever honestly play as a full warlock, even though I kind of want to. I feel like I would stop enjoying it after a while.
I get
honestly.
it. I get it. I feel like a lot of classes kind of, a lot of classes are front loaded, right? Especially like 2014. A lot of classes are level 1, dips is really all you need. I do like that they changed that in 2024 for the most part because it adds like you got to invest a little bit into it. But yeah, no, I totally understand like your frame of mind, but like you said, what really makes the warlock flavorful will be invocations. And that, there's such a big list of those that we got to dedicate a whole video to it.
Yeah. And I also want to say as a DM, warlocks are the gift that keeps on giving because now I get to play your patron. I feel like playing as a warlock immediately sets you up for some really cool roleplay stuff if your DM is up for it. And I love that. I think it immediately gives me someone that I can mess with the party with. If it's not necessarily a willing contract, that's a fun thing for a DM to play with. And I mean, I've used Warlock as a bargaining chip for my players who have died. I'm like, hey, here's this patron that you've been interacting with, very powerful being. You've died. They will bring you back, but your next level has to be in Warlock.
That's a cool way to bring someone back to the
I
table.
love it. I've done that twice now. Once was a fiend that was in the shape of a cat. They love him. He was yeah. And the other one was a creepy ass sphinx.
Oh,
And we have a lot of fun. I think Warlocks, again, they just, when it comes to bringing flavor to the table, I feel like they do it better than just about anyone else.
yeah.
Because it's just part of the real workaround. It's like there is story there no matter what.
Yeah. And how often are clerics, divine gods stepping in? Not too often,
Never. They don't. They're like, here, you can have a bless. Enjoy. But Warlock patrons actually do stuff.
Yeah. So going into the Warlock, which you can find in the 2014 Player's Handbook, starting on page 105. You get to start with the following equipment, in addition to whatever is granted to you by your background. So you could start with a light crossbow and 20 bolts, or any simple weapon. You get a component pouch or an arcane focus, scholar's pack or dungeoneering's pack, leather armor, an additional simple weapon, and 2 daggers. So pretty simple kit to start out with.
Mm-hmm. I think it's all right. I don't think there's anything crazy in this kit, but it's fun. It's nice. I enjoy it.
And at first level in the 2014 guidelines, you get to choose your other world patron. So you get to choose whichever subclass you wish to decide from at level 1. And there's a wide variety of them: fiend, great old ones, celestial. There's a whole bunch. That'll be another video.
I have to say, next to Druid, I think Warlock is the one I'm looking forward to the most for talking about subclasses. Druid only because it's my favorite class, but Warlock because, again, the subclasses are so good. Yeah. They're all so fun.
And of course, we get our Pact magic, which is our spellcasting feature, and we get 1 first level spell slot at level 1. And of course, you get your cantrips and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so level 1 as a Warlock, you are severely limited to your 1 spell slot, but you do have access to Eldritch Blast, which is probably the heaviest hitting cantrip in the game. A lot of people will cross-class only to get that. It is good enough.
But I will say, in 2014, though, what I would say the Warlock was probably had the most popular 1 level dip, which was for Hexblade Warlock.
Yes.
Especially in 2014.
Yeah, 1 or 2 level, 2014 1 or 2 level dip for Hexblade, or I've also seen quite a few people that like to do Fiend just for that extra health from killing.
Yeah, that's another good little benefit, but Hexblade, just super quick, it basically lets you use your charisma as like your attack modifier. So a paladin with a 1 level dip in Warlock, so you can only focus on charisma, was probably the staple. Sorcerer Warlocks, all that kind of stuff. So, I would say that was probably one of the most popular picks from the Warlocks.
And absolutely. And we also at level 3 have another feature that lets us do that if you don't want to be a Hexblade. But first, we have level 2, where we have our Eldritch Invocations. So in your study of the occult lore, you have unearthed Eldritch Invocations, fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue you with magical abilities. So at level 2, you get 2 of these Eldritch Invocations. Now, what they are essentially are passive features. They have a very wide array of effects. So much so that, again, we are doing a whole separate video on them. Because I think when I counted for 29 of them, and 2014 has far more than that, because they have all the extra books. There's so many of them. Now, when you learn these, they all have a prerequisite that you have to meet in order to get them, but you can learn the prerequisite at the same time that you learn the actual invocation. So you're getting 2. If one of them is like, you have to have this certain one to get it, you can get that certain one and the one you wanted in the same level, because you're getting that one first. You're also bumping up to 2 first level spell slots.
And enjoy it, because that's all you get. That's it.
For a good while. Um, oh no, I can't. Oh,
Just
I'm
makes your skin crawl just thinking about it. Just 2 spell slots.
just a little bit.
Well, if you think about it,
Yeah.
it's like you're drawing magic from this other worldly creature that really wants to keep you in control, so they're only giving you like little bits of their access to power, right? That's how I would think of it.
Yeah, that, and I always I always think about the warlock as like a corp executive, right? And it's like the longer you're in employment, the more benefits and perks you're getting out of the company.
Yeah. Stay
So
for
it's
5
like
years.
obviously they're not gonna just yeah, they're not gonna give you everything up front. They want you to earn it. You have to prove that you're worth their effort in giving you spell slots. So they're only gonna give you 2 at second level. You've done a little bit of work. You can have a little gift, a
Yeah.
little party.
So then we progress to 3rd level, which of course increases our spell casting level to level 2 spells. So we get access to 2nd level spells, which of course our pack slots upcast everything to the highest level of spell casting that we have available. So even those first level spells that you had chosen initially are automatically upcasted to level 2 whenever you do use it. An easy example could be like the command spell, which at first level you can only command 1 creature, but if you're casting it at 2nd level, which you automatically do with the warlock, you can target 2 creatures. And of course, at 3rd level, much like a lot of classes, you get access to kind of like your subclass in a way. It's like an additional subclass, I would say, on top of like your choice of like fiend, your patron. So you get access at 3rd level. Your otherworldly patron bestows a gift upon you for your loyal service. You gain one of the following features of your choice. So the first one, once again, probably one of the most popular ones out there, is Pact of the Blade. And there's a whole lot that goes along with Pact of the Blade. So you can use your action to create a Pact weapon in your empty hand, and you can choose the form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it. You are proficient with it while you wield it. The weapon counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magic attacks and damage. So you can be a warlock and conjure a halberd if you want. You can conjure scimitars, you can conjure great swords, and you automatically become proficient in it. And as we talked about, the warlocks are basically only simple weapon proficiency, but when you conjure this weapon, it becomes you become proficient in it. Your pact weapon.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do want to say, talk to your DMs about this specific one, because I have had players that I get rid of the melee weapon requirement. I've let people take pack bows. I don't think it's game breaking. It hasn't really ever changed anything in my games. If that's something you're interested in, talk to your DM, because rules is written, no. But again, also in the DMG, it says the DM makes all the rules. So, talk to them if that's something you're interested in, because it is an option. I've had it done, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Your packed weapon disappears if it's more than 5 feet away from you for 1 minute or more. It also disappears if you use this feature again or if you dismiss it. So this is probably something that people don't use too often, but I like an easy example is you guys get captured by somebody and they take all your weapons away. You're like, boom, nope, I got it. Here it is. I got my weapon with me wherever I need it. So a nice little feature there. And here's another also fun part about the Pact of the Blade is that you can transform one magic weapon into your pact weapon by performing a special ritual while you hold the weapon. You perform the ritual over a course of an hour, which can be done during a short rest, so that's nice. You can then dismiss the weapon, just shunting it into your extra dimensional space, and then it appears whenever you create that weapon. You can't affect any kind of artifact, so an artifact level magic weapon, or anything that has sentience to it, those talking swords that you sometimes run into. But the weapon ceases to be your pact weapon if you die, or if you perform the ritual on another weapon, or if you break the bond with your weapon. So, and then the weapon just kind of, if you break it, it just, lands on the floor in front of you.
I love this. I once had a group that was fighting over this enchanted longsword, I think it was. And so they were like, you know what? Let's come back next session. We're going to do a long rest. And when we come back, it'll be the end of the long rest. And our warlock had messaged me that during the long rest, he wanted to make it his pact weapon and then shunt it into the extra dimensional plane.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest thing when everyone came back and the magical sword was missing, because then they went on this big long quest to try to find it, only for the first combat encounter for the warlock to just pull it out of the dimensional plane and start killing with it.
A good way to mess with your friends.
Overall, it's great. I misspoke earlier because I was just looking over. In 2024, Pack of the Blade does give you the ability to, but in 2014, it does not. So if you want to do that in 2014, Hexblade it is. Otherwise, you just have a really cool sword with proficiency.
Yep. Pact of the Blade is a little bit different in 2014 compared to 2024, which we will
quite a longer.
Which we will discuss later.
Yeah. My favorite of the Pact boons is going to be Pack of the Chain. So with that, you're going to learn Find Familiar, and you can cast it as a ritual. The spell doesn't count against the number of spells that you know, and when you cast the spell, you can choose a couple of extra forms in addition to what you normally could pick. These forms being Imp, Pseudo-Dragon, Quasid, or Sprite. So this kind of gives you a little bit more options in terms of I'm a Fae character, I went with Archfey, I want a little Sprite with me. Or I went, Fiend, let's get an Imp. I adore them. They're all significantly better than the normal ones, except for maybe the Owl. I will say Find Familiar's Owl is and always will be one of the best because of its ability.
Mm-hmm.
But additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your own attacks and let your familiar attack for you. I will say, I don't think this is that strong in 2014 because the Imp, you might be getting a little, a good amount of firepower. I will say the Imp can give you a good amount of firepower. The Pseudo-Dragon with its Sting, it can give you some good conditions that you're putting on enemies. But overall, I don't think any of their attacks are going to be better than what you could do with just Pack of the Chain.
Yeah.
I will be honest, I think the main use of this is delivering spells, personally. That's how I think it's best used, or infiltration with the Imp, because it can turn invisible.
Yeah, and I will say where this one really comes online a little bit more to get more value out of your familiars is when you get the evocation investment of the Chainmaster. That is when it really benefits you, mainly for the fact that the spell save DC becomes, initially it's whatever the Imp or the Quasit's spell save DC is. But when you get investment of the Chainmaster, it becomes yours, which is usually substantially higher, probably at least a 14, maybe starting out, 14, 13, compared to I think they're 11 or 12. So just a little bonus there as well.
Yeah, I think when you take Pack of the Chain, I really think when you're picking out your familiar, you should really be looking at your team composition and finding something that really works well with that team. For instance, if you have a rogue in your group, the Imp is a great companion to have because they can go invisible and still give sneak attack to that rogue without putting themselves in danger. Do with that what you will, people, but the invisible Imp is really, really great. If you're a genie warlock, you can totally go into your little genie thing, have it pick up your lamp, and then you and your Imp can infiltrate just about anything. Wink.
Lots of clever ways to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, destroy your DM's games.
Yeah.
They'll love it.
So the next pact we're going to talk about is Pact of the Tome, which unfortunately didn't make it into the 2024 rules for whatever reason. I don't know why. But
Yes, it did.
did it? Oh no, sorry. It's the evocation.
Yes.
Sorry, the invocation didn't make it in.
Most of the evocations did not, but
Yeah,
Pack of the Tome itself
I
did.
think that's what it's the invocation that goes with Pact of the Tome. Anyways, I like this one personally because it just gives you more access to spells for the warlock. So your patron gives you a grimoire called the Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips from any class's spell list. And you don't even need to have them from like the same class. You can get like a wizard, a sorcerer, cleric if you so choose. While this book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips as at will. They don't count against the number of cantrips known. If they don't appear on the warlock spell list, they are nonetheless warlock spells for you. So they use your charisma or your spell save DC. That's charisma based. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. This ceremony can be performed during a long rest, and if it destroys a previous book, the book turns to ash when you die. So an additional 3 cantrips is quite nice. Seeing how a warlock is going to rely on a lot of cantrips for a lot of stuff.
I think this is probably the one I see the most. In my personal opinion, I think this is the best of them. Even though I, as a player, am really, really good with Find Familiar, right? That's like just a gimmick of me as a player. So I usually will take that because I know that I'm good with Find Familiar. But Pack of the Tome, I cannot stress how great it is to have so much extra versatility on your Warlock, especially with those cantrips. It is invaluable. I personally would recommend Pack of the Tome to pretty much everyone who wants to learn how to play a Warlock but doesn't have a particular niche already picked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the redheaded stepchild of the Pact boons. This one was added, I believe, in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. But I wanted to include it because when we talk about invocations, there are several of them in there for this. And that's Pact of the Talisman. Now, essentially what this is your patron gives you an amulet, a talisman that can aid the wearer when their need is great. When you fail, or when the wearer fails an ability check, they can add a d4 to the roll and potentially turn the roll into a success. They can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and all expended uses are restored at the end of a long rest. Now, again, I would never recommend someone getting this and wearing it themselves. I mean, if all you're going to get is Pack of the Talisman, or going to get any invocations, go for it. But Pack of the Talisman is, in my opinion, really good, but only if you heavily invest in it. Because, I mean, you're giving out guidance for free for, 2 times, essentially, between long rests. And it goes up as...
Yeah.
But...
And it's like emergency reaction guidance more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, because it's always there. You don't have to... Yeah.
Yeah, because guidance is something you have to use
good.
ahead of time, right? Like this is like if you fail, you can add a d4.
Yes. And I will say it is only ability checks. This is not for saving throws. This is not to hit. This is only ability checks. So right off the bat, it's not going to be your strongest, but hop over to our next video. I'm probably going to try to put a little link right here, or it'll be at the end, probably not right there, where we're going to talk about all of the invocations, because it really does benefit so significantly from those invocations. Last part of it is that if you lose the talisman, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. The ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and it destroys the previous amulet. It turns to ash when you die. That's kind of sad. Can you imagine, like, here's my vision, right? Whenever I play Pack of Talisman, because I have done it with a one-shot, played with another player, our characters were married, right? And so the talisman was like kind of a gift to my character's spouse. Can you imagine your spouse dying and like the magical necklace that they gave you to protect you just turns to ash as they die? Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
See, guys, the Warlock doesn't have to be all evil stuff. See, that's a heartfelt moment right there.
It is. I mean, and again, your patrons are. It doesn't have to be evil. Literally, the Celestial is like angels and unicorns.
Yeah.
Like, I think with Maraway, I don't have like one patron. You know, his patron is his people. You know, it's like wherever you get your magic from that is not yourself, that is what your patron is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do really cute stuff with the Warlocks. It doesn't have to just be, please, demon, give me magic.
Yes.
Here's my soul.
Now that's basically the packs that you get to choose from. So levels 4 to about 10 in Warlock, not much is going on in terms of like base Warlock features. So as we are leveling up, we're probably going to blow through these pretty quickly. Level 4, you get an ASI or feat choice. Choose a feat for the Warlock. The Warlock works. The Warlock especially works the best with feats, things that give you access to additional spells that don't go against your spell casting. Fey touch, just take Fey touch and you'll be happy because you need to Misty Step.
Fey touch, shadow touch. Yes. Get extra spell. You will love them. You will be so thankful that you have them. Also, if you are dead set on, I think the only place I would really heavily go with an ASI instead of a feat is if you are doing Hexblade and you want to, you know, bump that charisma up, do extra damage with your attacks because you're not relying on spells as much. That's probably the only time that I would really say, you know, heavily put into your charisma. Because is it nice? Absolutely. Is it good to have high charisma? Because it really, really hurts when you cast a spell on someone and they save and it doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
I will say that yes, there are reasons to go ASI instead of feat. Talk with your DM about it. They can probably give you a lot more guidance into like you specifically, or just experiment with it. But I agree with you, Dane, that with a Warlock, I will always pick a feat every single time without fail.
And then at 5th level, of course, we bump our proficiency up to a +3, and our still only 2 pack slots are now able to cast 3rd level spells. So fireballs, just fireball and hypnotic pattern and things that are going to make a big splash on the field is what you want your Warlock to use these spells on. Personally, that's my own personal opinion there.
Yeah. Do you ever have the spell that you cannot pronounce correctly because you heard it incorrect once and it's always just stuck with you?
That would be like prestidigitation or something like that.
No, so mine came to me because you said hypnotic pattern, and the first time I played D&D, my DM always called it hypnotic pattern, and I don't know why, but that's all I've ever been able to say it as now is hypnotic pattern, and I'm like, that's not even a word. Why does my brain like save it like that?
At level on
top
5,
of getting 3.
Yeah, we get that additional invocation. So now it's three total invocations at this point.
Yeah. At level 6, we're going to grab another subclass feature, which is excellent. Again, the Warlock subclasses really come to play. I think the Warlock subclasses are, in terms of only subclasses, some of the best in the game. All of them, I think, are really good. I don't really think there is, like, one weak link. There might be one or two. I mean, depth or deep one, whatever it is, the water one, maybe not the best, but situationally, it's great. After that, at level 7, we're going to bump our 2 spell slots up to 4th level spells. So it's still only 2 of them, but you can do 4th level spells. And keeping with our theme of 4s, we now have a total of 4 invocations. Excellent. You're going to start packing these invocations on every other level, I think, at this point.
Hmm.
which will bring us to 8th level with our ASI or a feat. Again, do a feat.
Yep.
Warlock patrons are here, are full.
Um, at ninth level, of course, we bump up our proficiency to +4. We get access to 5th level spell slots, which is the highest that you can cast with your Pact slots. So 5th level spells for your 2 Pact slots are the highest you can go, and you get an additional invocation. Now, keep in mind with these invocations, some of them have spells that you are able to cast at will. So, kind of like an easy example is like False Life, a spell that gives you some additional temporary hit points. You can just cast that one at will, does not expend any additional spell slots or anything like that. But there are invocations, quite strong ones. Polymorph is one of those that you get a free casting of it like once per long rest. So there are some additional spells that you can pick from these invocations to add into your repertoire.
Mhm.
Um,
At 10th level, we're grabbing another subclass feature, followed by 11th. This is where things start really changing for the Warlock a little bit, because with our 5th level spell slots, now we get 3. So now we have an extra spell slot, which I think feels pretty big at this point. As well as a new feature to our Warlock, which is Mystic Arcanum at 6th level. So what this means is that your patron bestows upon you the magical secrets of Arcanum. You may choose a 6th level spell from the Warlock spell list as this Arcanum. You can cast this Arcanum spell once without expending a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can do it again. So, I mean, it's like a free 6th level spell slot that only uses one spell, but I mean, you're getting extra spell slots, people. Let's not complain.
yeah, yeah, you're happy. You're happy with an additional spell that doesn't go against your pack slots. And I think
Mhm.
like I don't know, I never get up this high in terms of gameplay usually in terms of levels. But like, how many spell slots do like a bard or a druid get at like this level? Do they get more than like one 6th level spell slot? Is that like at level like 15 or something? They'll get like an additional 6th level or something like that.
Listen, you had to put me on the spot.
I did, yeah, because I feel like 3 5th level spell slots is
At
a
level
good amount.
11. At level 11, we have one 6th level, yeah.
Yeah, so
And
you're
it's going to stay one 6th level until 19th level. So
yeah,
you're on par with everyone else at that point, kind
hmm,
of.
yeah, no, it's true. And once again, 5th level spell slots, so everything is upcasted. You get them back on a short rest, so you could in like one adventuring day, you could have if you get like 2 short rests in a day, 9 5th level spell slots to cast.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I will say, the only drawback to Mystic Arcanum versus spells like normal spell slots is that you cannot upcast one of your pack magic spells up into that 6th level,
Hmm.
and you can't upcast your Mystic Arcanum up to a different Mystic Arcanum at a further level.
Yeah.
Uh, so you are going to be getting more of these all the way up to level 9th to 9th level spells. But once you lock in that this is my 6th level Mystic Arcanum, that's what it is, and
Hmm.
that's the only level you can cast it as.
Um, So at 12th level, and of course, an additional ASI. Now, here, yeah, maybe we go with the charisma bump or whatever stat you so choose. But once again, take a look at what you need. Feats are always the answer, usually. And of course, we get some additional invocation choices, which is now you have 6 invocations in your list to choose from. And of course, at 13th level, we bump up that proficiency one more time to +5. And like Bobby said, we get this additional Mystic Arcanum that is hardlined at level 7. So this is your 7th level, and you still have your 6th level. But like Bobby said, you can't upcast that 6th to a 7th level. So at 13th level, you get the Mystic Arcanum, a 7th level spell at this point, and you get it back on a long rest. So like one free use per long rest, basically.
At 14th level, we're going to grab another ASI or feat. and another subclass feature, bringing us into 15th level, where our invocations are going to hit 7 total. At this point, again, every other level, we're going to grab another Mystic Arcanum of a higher level, 8th. Which, I mean, yeah, you're doing some work with an 8th level spell.
Yeah.
I think at this point, at 15th level, I feel like this is when you really are just such a monster powerhouse, no matter what class you are. But at this point, you really are doing some cosmic level crazy bullshit. I mean, it's what it is. Let's be real. At this point, your patron really likes you. They probably see you as very useful, because they're giving you some pretty good stuff.
You're being promoted up the company pretty well at this point.
Mm-hmm. At 16th level after that, we are doing another ASI in feat, which brings us to 17th with another proficiency bump up to 6. You now get a total of 4 5th level spell slots, which is the maximum amount of Pact magic spell slots you're going to get. And you're getting that super excellent 9th level Mystic Arcanum. Now, as tempting as this is, because I know that like the Genie Warlock gets Wish, be careful being tempted by that, because in the Wish spell it does say that if you roll badly that you completely lose the ability to use it, and that will get rid of your Mystic Arcanum, period, because you cannot put something else in its place. So I only bring that up because I've seen a lot of players accidentally do that on really high level Warlocks, and then they just don't have a 9th level spell because they wished away their 9th level spell.
I wish
be
for a
careful with
million
that
more
and-
wishes. So at 18th level, we hit our maximum amount of invocations, which is 8. 19th level, we get our final ASI or feature choice. And then at 20th level, the capstone feature of the Warlock, the Eldritch Master. At 20th level, you can draw on your inner reserve of mystical power while entreating your patron to regain extended spell slots. You can spend 1 minute entreating your patron for aid to regain all of your expended spell slots from your Pact Magic feature. Once you regain spell slots with this feature, you must finish a long rest before you can do so again. So, is this ability useful in combat? No.
No. Unless you've got 10 turns to spare, no.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of those things like if you're like mid dungeon, I guess, and can't get like a short rest in, this is your cheat sheet to get a short rest in, basically, that only regains your spell slots.
I want to be honest. I think at first glance this seems like a really great thing, but I think the you can only do it once a long rest really hinders it, and the fact that it doesn't bring back your Mystic Arcanums, I think really I think it's just okay.
I think it would be better if it like took an action instead of having a 1 minute time. Like, I think that would make it a lot more useful, because then you could spend. You're at 20th level. Stuff's going crazy anyways, so you can use it in combat if you are out of spell slots, and then you get them all back. Like, people are doing crazy stuff at this level. What's that in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, I agree. I also feel like I would have liked it better if it had been more than once per long rest. I mean, if it's gonna take a minute, just give it to us infinitely, because we could just take an hour and get all our spell slots back anyway.
Right.
Spend a minute, you get your spell slots back. Congrats. It's only 5th level spells at level 20.
Yeah.
5th level spells really aren't doing crazy stuff at level 20, so give it to them.
Yeah.
But I'm not a writer of 2014 player handbook, so my vote really doesn't mean shit. Overall, what do you think about the 2014 Warlock?
2014 Warlock flourishes and is the strongest as a multi-class class. It's level 1 dips, like I mentioned, for things like the Fiend, things like Hexblade especially, is really what boosted its popularity with everybody. Any type of person that's ever done research who's a metagamer, it's like, what's the most powerful build you can do? Blah blah blah. It's always like Paladin Hexblade. Like, like, or something with a warlock added on there, or at least those classes
Mhm.
crack the top 5 at the very least. Um,
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, and like I said, the other great thing about the warlock is, as we've mentioned many times, the flavor that you can bring to the table. So it has a very rich role play element to it as well. Um, you can do that kind of classic battle of good versus evil if you do the paladin, hexblade crossover, or paladin fiend crossover, right? There's just so much
Mhm.
depth that you can go into with these warlock classes, that that's why I think it's very valuable, as especially a multi-class option. As it's full on solo by itself, it's okay.
So I want to agree with you that as a multi-class, I adore it. I great. I think it really helps you cover places that your character's weak with its invocations, and just having a couple of spell slots that you can play around with that will come back easily. I think on its own, I don't think it's a class I want to play. I know lots of people love it. I think it's great. I mean, personally, I don't want to play it, but as a class, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't see it on its own, being one of those top classes. When I think about the top classes in the game, it's always going to be Paladin, Cleric.
Hmm.
And I don't see this even in the same, tier ranking
Yeah.
as a like Warlock with subclasses. I don't even think a pure Warlock with subclasses would be as good as a Cleric without subclasses,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, just the range of spell
Um,
choices and spell slots that you get with the other classes really just push it over the next level. I think the warlock is for people that um are able to like strategize pretty well. Like if you don't, you can play, you have to play a little bit conservative. You have to be a little bit more plotting in how you break out these kind of big spells, because you only get them, if you use 2 of your spell slots right away, then you're just stuck Eldritch blasting the rest of the time. But positioning and all this kind of stuff is really key in this, with this kind of subclass. Um, so you just gotta. I feel personally, I feel like it's one of those things, like it's good for like a stretch strategic kind of player.
yeah, I think this is like a power gamer's wet dream
Yeah.
because you have to know going into it what your end game goal is. So you can build all of your invocations, all of your pact boons. Like you really have to know where you're going with Warlock because while it is extremely versatile, it's also extremely limited in the same light that, if you picked Pack of the Talisman because you thought it was cute, and now here you are 7 levels later, and you're like, I'm really not loving this. Well, you kind of have to invest a lot of invocations into it, or it's going to be worthless,
Hmm.
or you have to just abandon it, and now your Pact boon is gone.
Right.
And it's if you don't know how you're wanting to build a warlock, I feel like they can get really muddled down to the point where they just are okay at a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And now, finally, we get over to the new, latest and greatest 2024 Player's Handbook Warlock, starting on page 153 of the Player's Handbook. Um, you got it there with you?
I do, yeah.
um,
Um,
our
I like to joke that when 2024 Player Handbook came out, they looked at the Ranger and they said, "Here's a longbow." They looked at every other class except for Warlock and said, "Here's a level up." And then they looked at the Warlock and they said, "Here's 3 level ups."
yeah,
I feel like 2024 really, really loved the Warlock. They really did some work. So I'm excited to get into it and really look at the work that they did because I adore it.
yeah, absolutely. So of course, when you start build your character, we have all of those similar stats, the D8, all that kind of stuff, still the same skills, weapon proficiencies, all of that stays the same. But with 2024, you get, in addition to any equipment granted by your background, you get the following. You can choose from a leather armor with a sickle for some reason, 2 daggers, an arcane focus, which is an orb, a book of occult lore, scholar's pack, and 15 gold pieces. Or, of course, you just take 100 gold pieces and buy whatever you want. Go buy whatever you want. I don't know why the warlocks run around with a sickle. Is he trying to do a Grim Reaper kind of thing? I don't know. But I don't think it's a great
I've noticed the sickle in a couple of our videos now, just popping up in 2024. Do you think they're just trying to push the sickle? They're like, guys, we really like it. Just use it.
I don't know. Is it like it's a simple weapon, right? It's just like a farmer's sickle, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the plan is with that.
1d4 slashing. It's got light and nick. So it's literally the exact same thing as a dagger.
Yeah. Just use 2 daggers if you're going to do that for whatever reason. You don't get weapon mastery, so what are you doing?
I don't understand. I don't get it. Why is it here? I mean, I guess, yeah, for flavor, if you're trying to do some kind of, like, Grim Reaper-esque thing. But, I mean, this is an aside. This is a hand sickle, so...
Yeah, here's what you do. Go buy studded leather, get some decent armor, go buy an arcane focus. I don't know how much those cost. Maybe a dagger, sure. And then whatever pack you want. That's all you need.
Yeah, I think it's weird also that they added magic focus orb. Like, who's gonna follow that rule? I've never had a player that was like, my arcane focus is this. No, we're like, what's your arcane focus? And they're like, it's a necklace that I have from my dead father. And it's like, yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to carry a crystal ball around with me.
I've never had people actually use, like, focuses as focuses, you know?
Yeah.
Like, from our way, I have a staff. That is my arcane focus, is my moon staff. Like,
Killian's is his eye.
Look, and what a shame it would be for someone to pluck your eye out.
Yeah, then I'd be unable to cast spells.
Like, for me, I can be disarmed and I don't have an arcane focus. You would have to be decide to lose your arcane focus.
It's only things that need material components anyways, without cost. So, like, do you need it otherwise to spellcast? Like,
I don't think so, but I think almost all spells these days have some kind of material component you're supposed to have.
Not many with Paladin, let me tell you. It's mostly verbal and somatic.
As a druid, let me tell you, it must be nice. Because everything is like a sprig of mistletoe or ashes from a legendary... No, I don't know. It's ridiculous, though.
Continuing with first level, you get access to your Eldritch Invocation here. Now, 2024 invocations are vastly, well, I mean, not too vastly, but there are a lot of differences between the Pact invocation, like the Pact boons, like the blade, the tome, the chain. All of those are now classified as invocations. So you can pick which pact you want to go with at level 1. So if you want your Find Familiar, imp at level 1, you can get it. If you want your Pact of the Blade at level 1, you can get it. So you don't have to wait until level 3 to get those pacts. You can pick it up right away. And then of course our first spell.
Talisman did not make into 2024. So if you were questioning if you wanted to go, unfortunately, it's not here. I'm actively, right now, what I was doing is trying to see if... nope, it's not on D&D Beyond for the options. Sometimes they'll have, like, the actions you can choose from. It's not even there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like it, I guess, and stopped putting it in.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, additionally, level 1, like I said, you get your first level pack slot. So you get one of those. And then level 2, which gives us something a little bit different. Magical cunning. So you can perform an esoteric rite. I don't know what that is for 1 minute. At the end of it, you regain expended you regain expended pack magic spells, spell slots, but no more than a number equal to half of your maximum level, rounded up. Or I don't think it's level. I think it's proficiency bonus. So you're basically getting one pack slot back initially. So a nice way. This is like a little watered down version of the Eldritch Master capstone feature that you get at level 20 in 2024 or 2014. So it's just like a little bit of a watered down version of it. So beautiful at this level. Thank you. We'll take it. And of course,
I like that they've given us a sampling of it for sure. Before you move on, I wanted to do a little vocab with you. Esoteric describes something understood by or meant only for a small specialized group, often due to its complexity or obscurity.
Okay, learning new stuff.
Beautiful wordplay by writers of 2024, which honestly, I don't think 2024 Player Handbook did a very good job of wording, because I feel like so much of it is very vague in this book. So I wish they would have taken this esoteric vocabulary and put it in the rest of the book. But I appreciate it here. We got to learn something new.
Yeah. And this feature can only be used once per long rest. So once again, just a nice way to get some pack slots back if you're not able to get a short rest in. And of course, now we get our maximum 2 for a long time pack spells, once again, still at first level. And at this point, we get an additional 2 invocations. So we started off with level 1, and now at level 2, we get 3. So it's a nice little bump up in the number of invocations we had. And I'm pretty sure it's because they expect a lot of people to choose one of the Pact boons initially. And then at this level, you might consider the classic agonizing blast, repelling blast, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I also want to point out that whereas previously you had to pick one of the pack boons, now you can take all of them, which I think is great for versatility. But also, I feel like with getting 3 invocations at level 2, I feel like Warlock has really placed itself, in my personal opinion, as the best level 2 dip in the game. Almost every other class, to really get a great dip, you have to go up to that 3rd level to get to your subclasses. But I feel like 2 levels in Warlock, having 3 invocations and getting, 2 spell slots, one of which you can bring back on a minute, right? Obviously I think it was good because I did it. I saw this and I was like, I'm doing this. I think Warlock is easily the best 2-level dip in 2024. No questions about it. I don't even know. Like, I am a terrible person at always dipping cleric. I've never played an actual cleric. I always dip. But I would be surprised if I ever dip anything other than Warlock again. Because invocations are so powerful. They fill out so much. It's at.
Yeah.
Right here. I think.
Yeah.
At 3rd level, though, we are going to be getting our second, or our 2 first level spell slots are coming up to 2nd level spell slots. So again, all of your spell slots level together. So you have 2 2nd level spell slots that you can now use, and all of your 1st level spells will now be cast as 2nd level spells because all you have are 2nd level spell slots. You're also getting, with what was a controversial decision in the D&D community, your Warlock subclass here at 3rd level. I'm going to be honest, I don't hate that it's 3rd level.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were just mad at, well, where did you get your stuff from if you don't know at level 1? I think that's kind of
To me, I feel like we touched on it a little bit in the 2014. If you skipped here, you might not have heard this, but it's like, I always think of it as like a corporation. It's a business arrangement is what these packs are. And level 1 through 2 is like training. Way, this is you kind of jumping in. This is the company training you. And then at level 3, that's when you're going to start actual company perks.
Yeah.
Before that, you're getting the perk of being employed, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, once you are actually, once you pass your 90-day, when you can start getting benefits, that's where they start kicking in.
That's when you meet the
and
boss.
I feel
You
like,
meet the boss after 90 days.
yeah, you have your sit down, they pull out the life insurance package and you have to start doing all the paperwork. That's what level 3 is.
Yeah.
I think it was a fine choice because most campaigns that I feel like if you either know what you're gonna do as a warlock, so it doesn't matter. At level 3 I have a pact with a fiend because that's what the storyline tells me I have. So it doesn't matter that you have to wait till then. Could you change it? Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know what you're doing. Or 2, level 3 is where a lot of campaigns start.
Yeah.
And so I think 1 and 2 in 2024, I feel like is really for new players who don't really know what they're doing, who don't know, the characters. So it's kind of crazy to lock them into a big decision at level 1 before they've even experimented with the game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that
So
level
I'm fine with it.
that level 1 and 2 is definitely for like new players, right? Especially for like the other classes where, like spell slot management is a big deal for new players who don't really understand it just yet. And starting them at level 3 for a lot of the casting classes out there, like second level spell slots, like that just adds, like, if you just plop a new player with like second level spell slots, it's going to take them a bit to kind of figure that out. So like learning that level 1 to 2 progression on how it works, and then 2 to 3, like you said, if you're a more experienced group, just start them off at level 3 unless the story dictates that you need to be level 1. But yeah, I don't think there's a huge deal with it because, like you said, a lot of campaigns start at level 3 anyways.
So something that I like to do in my games, if I have a group that is all very, very experienced and one like newer wants to like learn who doesn't, who isn't comfortable starting at level 3, is I'll start the rest of the group at level 3 and then we'll just give that new player the health of a level 3, but all the features of a level 1, and we'll just have them level up as they get comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that also really gives a feeling of like this is a new adventurer who is trying to find their footing. So there's tons of ways that you can, give your experienced players what they want and keep your new learning players in a place that they are still learning and they don't have to be overwhelmed, because D&D is a very overwhelming upfront game. Work with your people. There's no reason that people should be upset by having to wait till level 3 because you can just start there.
Yeah. Level 4.
Even the pre-written stuff, I run it. Start at level 3.
Yeah. You're
Not
the
a big
DM.
deal.
You do what you want. Level 4, of course, ASI or feat. Get a feat, especially in 2024. Get a feat. Everything comes with like a +1 to something in terms of the stats, anyways. So much value out of grabbing a feat. Like I said, Fey Touch, Shadow Touch are probably like the two main ones that I would choose. Fey Touch is probably the more so of the other, because you get Misty Step, which is always great, especially on a Warlock with your limited pack slots. You don't want to be spending pack slots to run away if you can help it. That's kind of my 2 cents there. And at level 5, of course, we get our proficiency jumps up to a +3. We upgrade our spell casting to be able to cast 3rd level spells, but we still only got 2 pack slots to do that with. And now we jump from 3 invocations up to 5 invocations. So now we get to choose an additional 2 invocations out of our giant list of invocations that we have.
Yeah. So after that, we're gonna grab a subclass feature at level 6. Again, subclasses, amazing. They did some great stuff with the 2024 subclasses, and I cannot wait to talk about them. At 7th level, our 3rd level spell slots are turning into 4th level spell slots. We still only have 2 of them though, but we are bumping up to 6 invocations. which I think is excellent. Again, these invocations are so strong, so why wouldn't you want more of them? And at 8th level, we are getting that ASI or feat. I'm still feating it out over here. I still don't think I'm going with an ASI personally. I feel like we need someone else on this that actually hates feats, because I feel like both of us are like super pro taking features.
Who hates feats? It's like, I like math. I want my numbers, and that's what I want.
I want a +1 instead of extra magic and versatility.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you can take a feat that just is able to give you an invocation as well. I'm pretty sure there's those feats out there.
Yeah, you can. It's can you actually? I'm trying to remember. Came in. I feel like it is in this one.
I
In
think it's like,
2024.
but
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, well, maybe it is higher level ones. I don't know. I will get to it when we look at feats and stuff. But get a feat. It's always better for you. It's good for it does the body good to get a feat. At 9th level, we get a new feature added into 2024. But of course, first we get our proficiency jumping up to +4. We are getting our highest level spells, which are 5th level spells. We still only got 2 pack slots for that, though. We are up to 7 invocations at this point. And we get the feature Contact Patron. So in the past, you've usually contacted your patron through intermediaries. Now you can communicate directly. You always have the Contact Other Plane spell prepared. With this feature, you can cast the spell without expending a spell slot to contact your patron, and you automatically succeed on the spell's saving throw. Once you cast this feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. You can always have a chat with your patron every day. You can always call the boss and say, hey, what do you need me to do today?
Hey, how are the 7 hells today? Weather good? I honestly, I think it's unnecessary, but I love that it's an option. I think beforehand, you would just tell your DM, hey, I want to contact my patron, and we would make it happen. But now it's like, I feel like this really empowers players to start doing it more.
Yeah.
And letting DMs really have a character.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because typically, like, it might be more like your patron is always reaching out to you versus you reaching out to them. Just depends on the patron that you have, I suppose. But I'm just reading this spell because I've never seen it before. The Contact Other Plane spell, which
Really?
does require a saving throw, the DC 15 Intelligence saving throw, which, as we pointed out, the Warlocks do not have proficiency at. And on a failure, you go insane if you fail. And while insane, you can't take actions. You can't understand what other people say. You can't read. You can only speak in gibberish, and you can only get. I don't know how long it lasts for. It doesn't say how long. Oh, until you finish a long rest. Yeah. Or someone.
I do want to point out though, it does say in this that you automatically succeed the saving throw for your patron. Because otherwise that would be... Can you imagine just trying to talk to your own patron? Like, imagine, like, you're at work, right? You pick up the phone to call your boss, and you just, like, fall to the ground, like, shaking, incapacitated. Craziness.
But with that spell, you get to ask 5 questions of the patron, usually with them responding with one-word answers, unless the DM decides that you need a little bit more out of that, or to whatever question you're asking. So you kind of get 5 questions, yes, no, you get the magic 8-ball answer basically from your patron, but you don't go insane in the process, which is nice.
No, you don't. At 10th level, we're going to grab a subclass feature, and that'll take us down to 11th, where we are now going to bump up our 2 5th level spell slots to 3. So we're feeling pretty great about that, as well as gaining access to our Mystic Arcanum. Now, if you weren't with us on 2014 when we explained this, let me go over it. Your patron is going to give you magical secrets called Arcanum. With this, you're going to choose a 6th level Warlock spell and that will become your 6th level Arcanum. When you use this, you can use that spell or you can use it once without expending one of your Pact Magic slots, and you will get your Arcanum back at the end of a long rest. So these don't come back on a short rest like your Pact Magic do. Whenever you gain a Warlock level, you can replace one of your Arcanum spells with another Warlock spell of the same level, which is different because previously you were locked in. Whereas now, level up, let's change it up, let's switch things up. That as we move forward, we're going to be getting higher level Arcanums. You cannot cast these as higher level Arcanums. It is your 6th level Arcanum, and that's what it is, period. But that kind of means you have like 4 spell, right?
Yeah, you get like it's an additional spell slot initially at 6th level.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the following level up features were the same as the 2014 for the most part. 12th level, you get your ASI or feat with an additional invocation. So now we're up to 8. We're almost there.
Which I do want to point out really quick was the maximum back in 2014 was 8. So we are already at level 12 hitting what the maximum was for the 2014 because they weren't getting 8 until level 18.
Yeah. At 13th level, we hit proficiency +5. We get our 7th level Mystic Arcanum. We gain. Does it say ASI here? Or I think that's might be a little typo we got there.
That's a typo.
ASI is at level 12. And then at level 13, we also get an additional subclass feature. Was level 14 we get another ASI probably?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it totally deleted my 14th level on my little presentation.
Yeah, so 14th level additional ASI or feat.
Oh no, it's not. It's not even there.
Is it nothing?
Level 14 is where the subclass feature goes.
Oh, okay. Level 14 is subclass feature.
Goodness, listen.
Edit this out in post. It's okay.
Are we?
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
As the editor, I don't think we're gonna, but so just to backtrack, level 12, ASI, 8 invocations. Level 13, proficiency goes to 5, 7th level Arcanum, and at level 14, we're gonna grab a subclass feature.
Perfect.
Easy peasy. We did, however. Oh no, just kidding. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at spell slot level, and I thought it was saying that we got like 5 spell slots, and I'm like, where is that? How did I miss this? But listen, the table for Warlocks can get a little confusing.
Yeah, that's for sure. At 15th level, we're up to 9 invocations. So now we've gone over what the 2014 Player's Handbook gave us. We're also at Mystic Arcanum at 8th level. 16th level, another ASI or feat. 17th level, proficiency +6. Now we're also at 4 Pact slots in total. All are only able to cast at 5th level. But at 17th level, we also get our 9th level Mystic Arcanum. And at 18th level, we finally hit our maximum number of 10 invocations. So we got a lot to pick from.
At 19th level, we're going to grab the Epic Boon just like every other class. And then at 20th level, we gain Eldritch Master. When you use your Magical Cunning feature, you regain all of your expended Pact Magic slots instead of half. So this is the exact same thing that it was in 2014. I still don't think it's super strong. I still don't think it's super great. I still think it should have been an action. But here we are.
Yep, I agree. So that's the Warlock for 2014 and 2024. So, Bobby, I know you're obviously very excited about the 2024 Warlock. But comparing the two, what are your thoughts?
I think saying that I think that the 2014 is 3 levels higher than the 2014 when they made the book speaks for itself. I think it's so much better. I think it's so much stronger. I think the invocations having it's only 2 more, but that 2 more opens so much up for you. And I think also the invocations that they put in 2024 are so much better than the invocations of 2014. And you will see that in our next video. Um, so overall, I feel like 2024 is so vastly superior that I don't think I could be convinced to play a 2014 Warlock while this is sitting here. Like, again, I had never played 2014. I didn't want to, but the moment 2024 dropped, because Marway originally I think was gonna be cross-classed into Peace Cleric, and the moment 2024 dropped, I'm like messaging Dane. I'm like, "Have you seen this?" And
It's so good.
immediately everything shifted. It's so good. I
Yeah.
love it.
I agree. I would say, like I said, for the 2014, it was the master of like a 1 level dip, possibly 2 level dips if you just want 2 pack slots. But for this one, you get access to outside of the spells associated with the Hexblade, um, being able to use your charisma as your weapon damage with the Pact of the Blade invocation, really makes it still a great 1 level dip. You don't get all the other stuff that the Hexblade gave you in 2014. The biggest one was really the shield spell. That was like kind of why everybody took it, because you'd be a level 2 paladin with 18 AC and then a shield spell. So that was like the main reason why people took it. But once again, with the additional features like that magical cunning is super, super nice to get those pack slots back. I like the new one. I like the invocations for it, and I can't wait to go over those invocations with you because those are going to be muy caliente.
I do have one more question. We had talked about 2014 that we would really only ever play it as a multi-class. Would you play 2024 as a pure Warlock all the way through?
Um, hmm, hmm. I don't know if I would do it all the way through, mainly because it still runs into the same problems that the 2014 one did, like later on. I will
Mhm.
have to kind of see and refresh myself on the subclass features because that might make a big difference.
So
Um,
good.
yeah, you get a lot of good ones, like but is it worth going up to like level 14 for like that final subclass feature? I'm
Mhm.
not sure. We'll talk about that when we get to talking about the subclasses. But
Mhm.
definitely, like I said, I've always wanted to play a warlock for as long as I possibly could. I never got the chance to fully flesh one out, and I really, really want to. Um,
Mhm.
so, will it be a 1 to 20 character? I don't know, but definitely, bring it up to probably at least 10th level.
Okay.
Yeah, or
See,
11th maybe.
you know me. I take psychic damage when I play characters that aren't cross-classed, but there currently are only two classes that I actually want to try to play as a pure just that class, and that's cleric and this warlock.
Oh,
So at
okay.
some point I would love to try out the celestial warlock all the way through because I think the 2014 or 2024 did really, really good
Yeah.
in making me excited for it.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
well, overall, that's our thoughts on Warlock for 2014 and 2024. If you stuck with us this long, thank you so much. If you would like to see a Warlock being masterfully played by our Melanie from Knights of D20, as she plays Seraphina in our Dion Rising series, we do have that every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Twitch. And then it usually shows up on Wednesday on YouTube. Is that what it is?
Yep.
For anyone who did miss the live streaming of it, you can check out her playing as a warlock and the rest of us playing as miscellaneous other characters. Um, and until next time, may all of your intelligence checks be successful.
See you later.